CTV News with Jackie Scantlebury.
Good afternoon. The Lethbridge Bulls and Vauxhall Academy Jets are set to honor two former teammates tonight. Justin Lazorko has the story on how the two teams will pay tribute to Tanner Craswell and Mitch McLean.
For Diane and Erwin McLean, this will be the first time they've ever attended a Lethbridge Bulls baseball game. At first they thought they wouldn't attend the memorial game for their son Mitch and teammate Tanner Craswell, but changed their minds after giving it more consideration.
Well, I just thought if we didn't come this year, what year would you come? So.
McLean and Craswell, teammates and close friends, lost their lives in a roadside shooting in Claresholm 5 months ago. And for members of the Bulls, Dogs, and Vauxhall Jets, this memorial game is another part of the healing process.
It was baseball that brought him up from PEI to bring him to Alberta, and gave him the opportunity to play baseball out here. And I think having a game in their honor to celebrate their lives is just a great way to pay tribute to these two guys.
For us, it was a chance to do something that's going to be there for a number of years, hopefully for a long, long time, that will help us remember what they meant to the ball club and their families.
And while the McLeans never saw Mitch play as a Bull, they say watching his teammates will be the next best thing. They appreciate the friendships that have grown from this tragedy.
We've gained a whole new group of family and friends, and we, the Stepples, have become part of our lives too, and Shane, of course. I've gained a daughter after all this. I never had any girls, so now I have a girl. But yeah, it's our family has grown tenfold.
With the game tonight, there will be a tribute video and shared memories from both teams, all in remembrance of Tanner Craswell and Mitch McLean. Justin Lazorko, CTV News, Lethbridge.
And proceeds from the ticket sales will go to the Tanner and Mitch Memorial Fund. First pitch will be thrown 7:05 Spitz Stadium. Dory Rossiter is here. And Dory, we've got some nice weather coming the next few days. What about the forecast tonight? What does it look like?
Yeah, everyone's asking that, Jackie, because of the ball game, of course. And what we're looking at is a little bit of cloud, pop-up cloud cover that came across the mountain just due to daytime heating, not due to any specific system. So it looks like, there is a chance for some very, very isolated shower activity, but mostly, go out and enjoy the ball game. I'll have more details coming up in a couple of minutes.
We like how that sounds. Thank you, Dory. Warning that you may find some of the material of this next story disturbing. Details are emerging about the gruesome case of body parts being sent through the mail. Montreal police now have a suspect and a link to homicide. Police have issued a North America-wide warrant for a 29-year-old gay porn actor. Investigators allege that Luca Magnotta killed a man and sent the dismembered remains through the mail. A foot and a hand were separately mailed to Ottawa. A torso was found stuffed into a suitcase in Montreal. Magnotta was renting an apartment in a Montreal building. That is now the focus of the body parts investigation. Meanwhile, a man charged with first-degree murder in the death of a Vulcan senior was back before the courts today. Timmy Engel appeared in a Lethbridge courtroom via closed-circuit television. Engel is charged with first-degree murder and indignity to a human body. 77-year-old Otto Bunty Luce was kidnapped from his home in Vulcan in January. His dismembered body was found a few days later. During today's brief appearance, the case was adjourned until July the 19th. Engel's lawyer says he needs additional time in order to review the large amount of disclosure evidence that they've received from the Crown. When Luce was murdered, Engel was actually out on bail on a number of charges in another case. That was a domestic assault. A preliminary hearing has been set for August the 1st on those charges. Now, Engel's girlfriend was also before the courts today. 28-year-old Bobby Jo Parks is charged with obstruction of justice in the Otto Bunty Luce murder. Parks appeared in Fort Macleod Court this morning. Her case has been set over to July the 11th. Well, last week's proposed changes to the employment insurance system by the federal government sent shockwaves throughout the country. And for some vulnerable Albertans, the changes could make their job prospects go from bad to worse. Kamutha Rathmathan reports.
High winds haven't slowed down Monica Bunton. She's walking ditches looking for metal treasures.
Picking up cans and bottles just to, make enough gas money or sometimes pay the utility bills.
This is a far cry from her 25-year career as a receptionist. That's till last August. She was laid off when her company downsized. She's been jobless ever since. When she's not collecting cans, she's scouring papers for office work. But at 61 years old, she's not as competitive.
It's just frustrating because I feel I'm being passed over for younger candidates.
It's an issue she says the federal government's recent employment insurance announcement doesn't take into consideration. Bill C-38, before the House of Commons, redefines what's considered suitable work for people on EI. One aim, force people to accept a wage 70% of their previous income.
It makes it sound like those who are in EI are leeches and abusing the system.
She fears more stringent regulations combined with age discrimination make employment a dim prospect for Albertans over 60. She's not alone. Alex Chevalier oversees appeals when a person's EI request is denied. From 2010 to 2011, there were over 1,200 in Calgary. He's heard allegations of age discrimination in several of them. As the government narrows the eligibility requirements, he expects to see even more.
We've become pretty draconian within the EI system itself, but if they don't qualify, then they're going somewhere else, and after that, I have no idea where they go.
Some turn to organizations like the YWCA. Cynthia Wild works with countless EI recipients over 40. She says many fall through the employment cracks.
It's gone from a federal insurance program that's supposed to really be there to support all women, regardless of their age, to sort of a download to the provincial welfare system.
Which could become the only option for someone like Monica, who's just a week or two away from receiving her last EI payment.
It further frustrates me.
Kumada Ramanathan, CTV News, Calgary.
The Holy Spirit School District has approved a preliminary budget for the coming school year. The Catholic school system is expecting enrollment to remain at about 4,500 students in the coming year, but it will be forced to slightly reduce training and teaching support staff positions in order to catch up with a balanced budget. Even then, the school district will have to use $544,000 from its surplus to cover its expenses in the 2012-2013 school year.
Well, it's frustrating. We did get a 1% base grant increase that all boards in the province got, but that didn't even cover our grade increases. So it really is not adequate to support education the way we would like to provide it for our students.
The province requires that all school districts provide a preliminary budget, and the final budget is submitted in the fall once the school districts have firm enrollment numbers in place. Back to work legislation designed to end a CP rail strike and get freight moving likely won't pass in the Senate until Thursday at the earliest. Despite its overnight passage in the House of Commons, MPs voted just before 1:30 a.m. this morning to pass Bill C-39, ordering 4,800 Canadian Pacific engineers and conductors back to work after a week-long strike. Labour Minister Lisa Raitt said the labour dispute must end quickly because of the toll it's taking on the economy, and the Harper government used its majority to force the legislation through the House of Commons in a single day. Well, Lethbridge's newest radio station officially hit the airwaves tonight. It's already the #1 station inside the halls at LCI High School. Daryl Rummel takes us inside 91.1 Ram Jam Radio.
Inside what is supposed to be the quietest room in the school lies its new loudest voice. Welcome to LCI High School's first radio station, 91.1 Ram Jam Radio, featuring mornings with Dorothy, Nick, and Zane, and the Heinz 57 show with Shannon Stone. Inside this small office in the corner of the library, students are taking their first reps at being a radio DJ, broadcasting in the mornings before class.
You're listening to 91.1 Ram Jam.
On lunch hour and breaks.
When I do my shows, I try to assemble them so that there's a really good flow with the music.
She's only been on the air a few days, but Shannon Stone is already sure this is the career for her.
It's been a really good experience because I know how to talk on radio, and I've gotten better at transitions between songs because we do all of our sound stuff ourselves, and just watching your levels and knowing how everything works.
When the university station got new gear, they offered their old stuff to LCI, and they jumped at the chance.
We thought, what if we were to set up a sister station here at the school, train students how to use the equipment, train them on proper etiquette and behavior on the radio?
So here they are. The station doesn't exactly have a format. DJs play basically whatever they feel like, within reason, keeping tabs of what's played and when.
It's been amazing. The students have taken complete ownership of it. We wrote up a series of different jobs and tasks that we needed to fill by students, and they have run with it.
The radio station gets its name in part from the school's athletic teams known as the Rams, and the band Ram Jam, whose lead guitarist shares the same name as their principal, Bill Bartlett. The broadcast range isn't exactly great. In fact, this is about the extent of its reach. But should the program continue to enjoy the success it's had early on, there may be no quieting Ram Jam Radio. Daryl Rummel, CTV News, Lethbridge.
There are currently 20 students working for Ram Jam Radio. If you're within a block of LCI High School, you can find it at 91.1 on the FM dial. To the markets today, where they appear to be on another downward spin. Here's a look at the final numbers.